biggest race I've won. Probably the Carlsbad 1986 USGP was pretty big. I also won a bunch of Supercross races that are pretty big. Um, that would be the biggest two wheel. Then in four wheels, I would say it's probably what they call the Amsoil Cup at Crandon International. I won that, I think, once or twice. Um, yeah, I've had a couple of decent ones, and then I won frozen. I won the first Frozen Rush as well too.
Yeah. What's your funniest racing memory if you have?
My funniest.
Mhm.
Um, um, God, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll tell you a Jimmy Johnson story. How's that?
Yeah.
So he won one stadium race. All right. So we were racing in Vegas. The way we lined up, he was second, I was first. Came around, we're racing. Then I lost my brakes. So I was coming to the corner, I was getting on two wheels, and he's trying to find a way to get around me, and without hitting me because he's my friend and teammate. And so I come into the corner and he bumps me and hits me out of the way, and I kind of go on two wheels. He gets underneath me, and then I'm chasing him and we're going around, and he wins and I get second place. Well, I was I was pissed. First, as a racer, I'm mad because I lost. I don't want to lose. I don't care if it's to my son, my best friend, whoever it is. I'm there to win. But on the other hand, I'm really happy for Jimmy because he just won his first stadium race, you know. So I jump out of the truck, he jumps on top of the truck, and I go to jump on top of the truck to congratulate him, hug him, and pick him up. He thought I was pissed off and I was going to come whip his ass because he hit me. So he kind of sees me, he raises his dukes, and I'm just like, I grab him, and I got a picture of it somewhere where I'm picking him up and stuff like that. So um that's a pretty funny story.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. You want to hear what my funniest racing memory is from when I go to races?
Absolutely.
A couple years ago when I was in Nashville for that whole weekend, I met Roger Penske by accident.
Yeah. And
This is what happened. I was with a friend watching IndyCar practice, and the practice concluded. And by then it was getting dusk. It was starting to get dark out, and so it was almost time for me and her to leave the track for the day until the next day, of course. But I, after practice ended, I stood in an empty field near the stadiums and was talking with my friend about a little bit about the drivers so that she would understand. And I backed myself up into the path of an oncoming golf cart, and I got hit and landed on the ground. And when you're on the ground after something like that, you're thinking, okay, what idiot decided to run over me?
mm-hmm.
And then I stood up and it happened to be Penske, and I was just like, holy cow, Penske. And I was like, can I have a picture? And he gave me a picture. He was like, yeah, sure, son, but I have to go pretty soon. So we posed for a picture. I gave my phone to him by accident instead of the person taking my photo. And then eventually she got control of the phone and then took a picture of us. And in our picture, there's the golf cart in the background. And what was even funny about the picture was there were some people walking by without knowing who they were standing near.
Well, I think you should have jumped up and said, "Oh, you broke my neck. I'm gonna sue you." Okay, we can settle out of court, $3 million, and this all goes away.
Yeah, my take on it is when you're a racing fan and you grow up knowing who it is, you can't help but accept it when you get hit by one of your heroes.
No, no, that's a pretty cool story. And the fact, as I said, the fact that you didn't jump up and threaten to sue him for a bunch of money was good. Good stand up guy by you.
Yeah, it didn't actually harm me. I mean, I had a few bruises, obviously, in my legs and my back, probably, but it was okay. I was cool with it as long as I got that picture.
There you go. There you go.
And then later that weekend, I met Little Al. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. You got quite the star-studded weekend.
Yeah. And earlier this year at the airport, I happened to run into Paul Tracy.
Well, if you see PT again, tell him RJ says hello.
I definitely will. Have you met him?
Yep, we're good buddies. So when I met Richard Buck used to be the car chief for Rick Mears at Penske. and we met and um, through some mutual friends when I was trying to get the Chevrolet ride, and then Paul got the test ride for Penske, and so Richard introduced us because Paul was a motocross fan. So Paul came out and stayed with us at our house in Southern California for a while. Then I introduced him to Troy Lee, and then Troy Lee started painting his helmets, and they're still great friends to this day. So, yeah, I love Paul Tracy and know him well.
Yeah. When I met him at the airport, I was eating a meal at a nice restaurant. And then I saw him come in wearing his black hoodie with his smoking hot girlfriend. I'm sure you've seen pictures of her. And
Yep.
I recognized immediately who it was. And I went up to him and had a chat with him, including a chat about the race. You probably know which one.
Recently?
Oh, the race, meaning the Indy 500 that
Oh, the race. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we had a chat about it. And, it was great to chat with him. And he's pretty stand up, I would say.
Absolutely. He will tell you exactly what he thinks.
Yeah. I like that he's honest and open compared to other people.
No, no, no. He's very, very forthright, and as I said, you don't worry about what's on his mind because he'll tell you.
Yeah. So let me think. What other divisions have you raced? Have you raced in go-kart or Indy Lights or?
I did a little go-karts. I did one barber Saab race and I got seventh at Del Mar in California back when they had the IMSA race and stuff there. I currently race trophy trucks. I'm the defending trophy truck legend champion with Gus Villadosula. Uh, I've raced trophy trucks, motorcycles in the desert, class 8 in the desert. Um, what else? Raced side by sides, and I tested Jacques Villeneuve's Formula 3 that was sponsored by Camel when I retired from motocross, but quickly found out that I'm too big for the car. They had to basically take the seat out and then cut the tips of my shoes off because they're not built for somebody that's 6'1".
Ah, what's your biggest race disappointment?
In 1982, I had a 20-point lead going to the last round. All I needed to do was get fifth place in two motos if the rider I was racing against won. The first moto, I was battling for, I think, third or fourth place, and I overjumped and I broke my front wheel and cartwheeled. I had to go change the front wheel, and I worked my way back up to 21st, which gave me 0 points. And then in the second moto, I got second. He got third behind me, and he won the championship by 2 points. So I went in supposed to win the championship, and I walked away a failure because I was too proud. I said I'm going to go win the race like a champion, and I should have. There's time for that, and there's time not to do it, and I screwed that up.
Yeah, that's tough. How
Yep.
did you handle the disappointment with that?
Honestly, now that I look at it, it was the best thing that happened to me. I was very young, very arrogant, very aggressive. And I think if I won that championship, I think that probably would have been my last one because I think my head would have been so big. So it made me humble, and made me work. I came back and I won the championship in 1984.
That's incredible. How is your 84 championship like?
That was great. It came down to the very last moto, and against a rider named Ron Lachine and myself, um, we took off, and whoever won or whoever finished ahead of the other rider was going to win. We started off, we tangled off the gate. I worked my way through the group faster and won the championship. So it was. I had Cliff Lett as my mechanic, who was a friend of mine and also worked on my bikes when I was very young. So it was a very, very gratifying win for me, for Yamaha, being on a production bike. And so it was a blast. It was probably, I'm going to say, my favorite championship because it was my first.
That's awesome. How many titles did you win in that series?
I won five motocross and two supercross championships. And so seven total when it comes to AMA national championships.
Who is your biggest hero in racing?
Biggest hero in racing. Probably Jimmy Johnson. Even though he's younger than me, and I helped him get there, but I know what he went through. So I'm going to say Jimmy Johnson.
That's great. Good to hear. Have you ever met legends like the Unsers or Andretti's at all?
Yep, knew Mario Andretti. Not that I knew him like past tense, but I know Mario, but we don't talk on a regular basis. I got to hang out with him when I was trying to get that Chevrolet ride. So the people from Bell set me up with sweet passes with the Andretti. So I met Michael and Mario and knew Rick Mears, raced against Roger Mears. And so yeah, I've had a bunch of friends, people that I would call friends, over the years that are legends.
Good to hear. This is the last two questions I have for this particular podcast, but what are your hopes for the future?
Hopes for the future. Keep loving my smoking hot wife and anxious to see what our grandkids will look like. There's none on the way yet, but a man can hope. And I'm just going to try to stay an athlete as long as I can. I had a left knee replaced in June, had my wrist fused, so I'm patching up some old injuries, trying to stay strong, trying to stay vibrant, and keep moving forward. But take life as it comes. I can't, you know what I mean? I have plans, but as they say, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah, for sure. So the final one is how can your journey impact millions of race fans?
How can my journey impact me as race fans?
Mm-hmm.
I think my story is one of perseverance. My career ended short in motocross, but I didn't stop there. I had to navigate my way through and have a bunch of audibles in my career. Like I said, I thought that the destiny was going to be with Chevrolet, and they were going to make me the next Ironman Stewart, with the S10 program and stuff. And then they dropped that program, so that left me high and dry. Then I got the ride with Penske, and I thought this is my destiny because I'm going to get with a top-notch team. And then Rusty was a complete prick and didn't like me and wanted me out of there, so I got fired. Then I got with Red Bull, and when I got with Red Bull, I thought, well, they're telling me that we're going to have you do all these things and mentor the younger drivers because you did a good job. You won us these championships. You brought up Bryce Menzies. You've done, this and that. Then they decided, well, they took a turn and did something else. So I'm hoping that I'm an example for people as just because shit doesn't go exactly the way you want it, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. Accept where you are, and keep charging forward. And it's just like going into the first turn in a motorcycle race. You just line up on the gate, even with everybody. You take off, and when you get to that first turn, there's two races from the gate to the first turn, from the first turn to the finish line. Sometimes you're in the front and you have a great race, you have clear vision and all that. Sometimes you get knocked down, you have to fight your way back. So hopefully people see me as a guy that hasn't had a storybook career, but I'm having a great time.
That's great to hear, man. Where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at the Ricky Johnson. Also rickyjohnson.com. I don't really have a big web presence, but we're going to be doing some adventure bike rides and stuff in Southern California. That's my goal. My passion right now is teaching, and I want to show people the Southern California lifestyle when it comes to riding motorcycles.
Awesome, man. Good for you. So we thank you for coming on.
My pleasure, brother. And hey, watch where you step. Don't get run over by any more legends, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Who knows? Maybe next time it'll just be 2 or 3.
There you go. You can handle it. You're a tough guy.
So everybody, we'd like to thank Ricky Johnson for appearing on the channel. Please hit like and subscribe. Check him out on Instagram at the link he mentioned and the username. And we'll see you next week for the next episode of SFM.